Hello, everyone, and welcome to Saberminded Baseball Podcast Episode 8, presented by The Dugout. I'm Dawson Wright here, joined by Noah Wright, as always. And Noah, we have a pretty loaded episode today. There have been quite a few things happening, and the biggest news of last week was obviously the Clay Buchholz signing with the Toronto Blue Jays. We have a few other things since the last time we recorded. Manny Machado signed, Harper signed, but we're gonna talk about that. But obviously from the title of this episode. But come on, we gotta talk about some Clay Buchholz a little bit.
Because he did amazing last year.
Yes. Okay. So Clay Buchholz, who was on the Arizona Diamondbacks last year, signed with the Blue Jays on a 1-year deal. I think
it was $3 million too.
Yeah, so really cheap compared to what he did last year. Obviously, he was injured at the end of the year, but last year he had a 2.01 ERA, a 3.47 FIP, a 1.097 WHIP,
in only 98 and a third innings, and in those 98 and a third innings, which he only played 16. Which is about 16 games he played in. He had a 3 WAR.
Yeah, which is really, really good. He had a 2.0 watts per 9 and a 8.8 home runs per 9 last year.
So that's a pretty home run friendly park and hitter friendly park. So that was pretty good that he only had a 0.8 home run per 9 rate. I was pretty upset the Pirates didn't sign him, but all right.
Yeah, well, the Pirates don't sign anyone. But, he was pretty... if he continued this throughout the year, he would have been in the running for Cy Young, definitely. Yeah, he probably would have finished behind or maybe even ahead of DeGrom.
Yeah, depending how the rest of the year played out. It would have definitely been interesting to see what he could do in, 200 innings or so.
Yeah, I don't know why it took him so long to sign.
It was only $3 million. It was only $3 million deal for 1 year. So it's not like it was breaking the bank.
Yeah, he might have been looking for 2 years. Possibly. Yeah, it's not breaking the bank at all. So good for you, Blue Jays. Clay Buchholz is probably gonna get traded at the trade deadline. So. Feels bad. But, okay, before we get to Harper, and then we're going to have a break, then we're going to talk about Manny Machado. Today, Jose Canseco's been saying some weird stuff again.
Like he always is, it looks like.
Basically, he said, Tim Tebow, you're never going to make it to the major leagues with that swing. I am here to help, buddy. If I can hit a softball 500 feet at the age of 55... You can hit 40 home runs in the major leagues if you let me help you. Yes, I'm talking to you, Tim.
I have no idea what hitting softballs at age 40, at age 55 correlates to hitting MLB pitching, but all right.
Yeah, I don't know about 500 feet, Jose Canseco. I saw Jose
he's
Canseco
back on the roids
a few years ago. I don't think he was going to hit a softball 500 feet, but... I don't know. I just found that funny.
He got back on the roids, so that's why he's hitting them 500 feet.
He's just been saying some
weird,
interesting stuff. Yeah.
About time traveling and aliens and Bigfoot, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to have a Jose watch where we look at his trophy. But, alright, okay. Bryce Harper, let's go ahead and start there, finally. Okay, so Bryce Harper... signed a 13-year, $330 million deal with the Philadelphia Phillies, which is a new record. And it includes no opt-outs, and nobody is certain whether Harper's camp wanted that or not. Harper did come out over his press conference over the weekend and said that he did want it, but, that could just be Boris, flexing his muscles, saying, I get what I want for my clients or whatever. A full no-trade clause. And Harper was basically saying how he wanted somewhere where he could finish out his career. And he originally wanted a 15-year contract.
That's
okay.
That's a long time, but this is also still a long time, too.
Yeah, he wanted it to take him until he was 40 years old.
I'm gonna be 30 by the time this contract is over.
Yeah, both me and Noah, we're both going to be in our 30s when this contract is over. That's
just for comparison. for how
Yeah,
long
that's
this is
all.
gonna be.
I'm gonna be 30. You're gonna be 31. Wow. Okay. But
that makes me feel old.
I know. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of risk when it comes to Harper, and I'm just gonna run through it a little bit. I'm going to be making a video about Bryce Harper very soon. I've been working on it, and that will come out. But there are a few things I'd like to mention. So, he has some injury history. There was when he ran into the wall at Dodger Stadium. When I think he hyperextended his knee
Last year.
Yeah. Or wait, no, it'd be 2 years ago now.
I thought he did something with his knee last year too.
Last season?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
I don't know. Maybe
it might have been something light, but not anything major. But he averages 132 games a season. His WAR is really inconsistent. He has had 3 seasons where his WAR was lower than 2, and he had a 1.3 WAR in 2018. First half of 2018, he had a 833 OPS, and the second half, he had a 972. Joey Gallo's second half OPS was 932.
Just for comparison of just, how that was.
Yeah. Harper used to be a great defender.
Yeah, he had like a 1.5 defensive WAR in his rookie year.
Yeah. Now he's turned into a sort of liability. He had a negative 26 DRS, which is the second worst, and 10 of that was in center field.
But 16 was from right field, because I know some people say, well, he played center field. He was still an awful defender in right field, so it's not like he was it's not like he was playing out of position that much.
Yeah. He had a negative 14.4 ultimate zone rating. Negative 5.5 outfield arm runs above average, negative 13 outs above average, and a negative 3.2 defensive WAR.
Yeah, and we've seen...
Wow.
And his range has really slipped too, because if you see negative 9.4 range runs above average, that's very below average. Like, this is like making Nick Castellanos look like an average outfielder.
Yeah. Yeah, probably the biggest concern with this would be in the National League, there currently is no DH, and we don't know if there will be one ever, or at least by the time this contract is over. So that's just something the Phillies are going to have to deal with. They might move him to left field eventually.
Or maybe first base later in his career.
Or first base, but then, if they keep Hoskins,
well, that's
where is he going to play?
Because he can't play outfield either.
Yeah. I just don't understand why I understand why the Phillies would go this far from a business perspective. From a baseball perspective, no.
Yeah,
but
that's a lot.
And I'm sure the Phillies understand this themselves. I'm sure the Phillies would not take this deal for anyone else that put up these type of numbers that wasn't named Bryce Harper. Yeah, because didn't his name already just like break sales in like terms of just money that came in the door after his signing? Yeah, like didn't his jersey sell like more than LeBron's did when LeBron went to the Lakers? Like Harper
something
with
like
the
that.
Phillies jersey,
yeah,
like sold more on the first day. The Phillies sold like 180,000 tickets in like 2 days, and
that's insane.
I know it's a lot.
So it's definitely paying back in a business perspective.
Baseball perspective, I think it's partially going to cripple them.
I think it's going to depend what he does.
I think if he's anywhere close to where he is now, his bat's probably just going to go down as it gets older.
Especially that his first half was a bit worrying though, with that 833 OPS.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been an all-star in the first half, I think. I mean, he basically had to be there because he was on the Nationals.
And the Nationals
it was a Nationals
yeah.
Park. Yeah. But that's probably the biggest concern with this deal is kind of just like, what are you going to do with him? They better hope there becomes a DH in the National League, or
he can handle first base at all,
and then trade Hoskins, or
we'll see what happens in the future with
put
that.
Hoskins back in left.
Or Hughes awful.
Yeah, there's
that. They gotta hope for either a DH. They gotta hope for either a DH, his defense to bounce back, or they gotta see if he would ever take up first base.
Yeah, but like I was saying, the Phillies, they still have quite a bit of money left to move. They could still sign Mike Trout if they wanted to a few years from now.
What outfield that would be?
Yeah,
Harper. He would be Harper in right field. Bryce or Harper in right field. Trout in center, and then McCutchen is going to be under contract through that, so you could have him in left.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good outfield. I mean, mostly just because they have Trout.
Yeah, but still, that'd be a really good fun outfield to watch.
Yeah, but the Phillies still have a lot of money to move, so it doesn't hurt them terribly because I think his AAV was what, like $25 million a year.
Yeah, around there.
So it's not terrible. I just don't know if it was the best move for baseball ops. I wouldn't say it was.
Me neither.
I'd say they could have made better moves to get this sort of production.
I think there was other holes they could have filled with that money.
Yeah, but for the Phillies,
they could have gotten Keuchel to back up that rotation, but I mean that's also kind of a risk because he's starting to look like an Arrieta on the free agent market.
Yeah, but for the Phillies as a team or as a franchise, this was an amazing move as it would be for any team Harper would go to, because you get Bryce Harper on your team, you get more tickets sold, more jersey sales, all that kind of stuff. Like at Harper's press conference, did you see they had the like the MLB The Show cover and then the covers of ESPN that Harper was on behind him? Just sort of being like, hey, look at this. We have Superstar now, right?
Yeah.
Overall, solid contracts. I don't like the 13 years, but at least the AAV isn't super high, so they still have a lot of money to work with.
Yeah.
They left themselves some room. It's just hard for some teams to balance what's going to be best for the franchise and then what's going to make our team better. Those don't always line up.
Yeah, sometimes they conflict with each other.
Yeah, especially that the ownership is making a push like, hey, go get this player. I want people in seats, right? And then the baseball ops people are like, oh, well, we could get people in seats if we win and get this guy. So it's just, it's conflict of interest. So,
yeah,
but I mean, good for Philly fans. It finally happened, and thank goodness this finally happened. I'm just more ecstatic that it happened
than
that Harper went anywhere.
Than what team he signed with or the deal.
Yeah. As for the other teams, it really looked down to Phillies, Dodgers, and Giants. Dodgers didn't give him the years he wanted. They would have done, what was it, like $45 million a year, which is mental. I mean, for the Dodgers, this sort of, I mean, they have enough players. They'll figure out who's going to be their starting outfield. Because isn't Bellinger going back to center field?
He's going back to left field, center field, somewhere out there, because they also have, who was it?
Taylor.
Yeah, and then remember they brought in Pollock.
Oh, yeah, they got Pollock. So, yeah, the Dodgers will still be fine. I mean, I know Dodger fans are upset they didn't get Harper. And then the Giants, Giants have had a rough couple of weeks. Recently, we had the Larry Bear thing, and then you had this morning, we heard about Cameron Maybin with the suspected DUI.
They're getting off to a hot start.
Yeah. I mean, for the Giants are going to be okay. I'm actually kind of glad we didn't sign Harper to a 13-year contract. Because Like, yeah, it would have been exciting or whatever, but now a bunch of Giants fans are mad. Like, oh no, we didn't get Harper. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Like, it's okay. We'll be all right, guys.
You'll live.
We're gonna be fine. Yeah, we'll live. We didn't need to offer Harper a 14-year contract, right?
No.
Like, no. All right. I mean, I get it. It would have been fun in the short term, but everyone would have been sad when we have a left-handed version of Albert Pujols in a few years. So we are going to take a break, and when we get back, we are going to be discussing Manny Machado on the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I love her off. Says she love me, but she cut me off. Yeah, late nights on the boulevard. Hidden stains on an empty heart, yeah. I love her.
All right, everyone, we are back, and Manny Machado is back in California. He is now a member of the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, he's also going to have to pay like $40 million in California taxes, so woo. All right. But Machado deal, it was 10 years, $300 million. It had a higher average annual value than Harper, and he's going to play third base for the Padres.
Yeah, because he's good as a third baseman, but not as a shortstop.
Well, I mean, he did okay with the Dodgers at shortstop.
Yeah, but he still wasn't
better
great.
than when he was with Baltimore. Yeah, but he still wasn't. He's still a way better.
I'm still not gonna take that like 50-game span where he did good at the position. I'm going to take the other, 100 games he did bad at that position as how he did.
Yeah, Machado's been really consistent. He hasn't really had a lot of injury history. Yeah. He's less of a risk than Bryce Harper.
Yeah, because, really, since 2000, when he came back from that injury, when he tore his ACL or something. Yeah, but he really hasn't had a bad year except for last year, and even then he still hit a good amount of home runs and was really good defensively at third base, so...
Yeah, and this deal only includes a limited no-trade clause, so they still have a chance to trade him eventually if they decide that this isn't working out. With Harper, the Phillies are just completely stuck. And speaking of the Phillies... there's a report that came out from Sports Illustrated that said some Phillies executives thought Machado was a more complete player than Harper, which I don't think they're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Machado, just based on consistency of offense and defense.
Yeah, he's just... Harper's just been so up and down. Like earlier we talked about his WAR. Like he's had a few years where he's had
great WAR, and then other years where he has great WAR and looks like a really good player.
Yeah, and then it's just, I mean, we know Harper's been injured for some of those years, but still, I mean, it just goes to show you the type of production you're getting.
Yeah,
Machado's personality, although it may appear to some fans that he's a terrible person, whatever, if you talk to players, most players that have been in a clubhouse with Manny Machado, or at least know him, would say the opposite, really. Like Trevor Bauer was talking about how Machado's always been kind and a good friend to him and stuff, so maybe Machado isn't as bad of a person as we thought. I mean, in the postseason...
It did not look good in the postseason.
It looked really horrible in the postseason.
It did not look good. And then after the postseason with his Johnny Hustle comments didn't make it any better either.
Yeah, but Noah, I wanted to ask you, so the Padres have 10 top 100 prospects right now. But what do you think this Machado signing means for the Padres' future?
I think it just means that they added a good core piece to add to an infield that could be one of the best in the National League. I know Hosmer is, Hosmer is not that great, but still you could have Machado at third base, Luis Urias at second base eventually. Really, just Kinsler's there just as a placeholder, so they can just slowly introduce prospects. And then they have Fernando Tatis Jr. in the minors just waiting to come up. So I think eventually that this This could be a very, very, very good infield.
Yeah, I'd say it could be one of the best infield.
That's assuming the prospects develop right.
Yeah,
I don't know how that. I don't know if they will or will not. But if they do develop good, well, we're looking at a really good infield then. I think that I don't know if the prospects are going to develop how they think they are, but if they do develop well enough, this is going to be a very, very good infield.
Yeah, and this could be a very dangerous team. It's just pitching is something they're going to have to figure out. They could go after Trevor Bauer, or
if they ever willing to trade
him again. Yeah. They might this offseason. The Indians are yikes.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
they could miss the playoffs completely.
The Indians,
I think. I don't have them making the playoffs now, even if they stay healthy.
If something happens, it's all over for the Indians. If something happens, because right now, the only pitching they're relying on are their starting five, and then Brad Hand, and that's about it for pitching. And then, if something happens long term to Francisco Lindor or Jose Ramirez, the lineup's just like, it's screwed.
Yeah, they lost Michael Brantley. They extended Carrasco, so at least they did that.
Yeah, but that's just one starter, and 6, 7 players on one team can't carry the entire 25-man roster.
Yeah, this isn't basketball, but I mean, for the Padres, I actually like this deal a lot. It gives them something to work with at the major league level. Manny Machado is a star player, whether we like it or not. And he brings something to San Diego that they haven't really seen in a while. You could say that Hosmer was this sort of superstar guy, but I never really saw him that way, even when he signed that big deal with San Diego.
I don't think he was ever really that great of a player. I mean, he had some seasons where he did good, but he never put together like consistently really
MVP.
good. He was never of that caliber, and his fielding is pretty overrated too if you look at some of the numbers, because most of them, like in DRS, he's a negative defender regardless of his Gold Gloves.
Yeah, so I mean, I like where the Padres are looking at right now.
I like it too, because Renfroe, he did really well last year.
Just something
we already talked about. Tatis Jr. and Urias, and then you have Austin Hedges, who's a very, very good defensive catcher, and he has some pop too. Francisco Mejia could also move to the outfield if they don't want to move Hedges off a catcher, which I would rather have Hedges behind the plate just because of how good of a defensive player he is. But Mejia could be a really good bat to that lineup, and they still have just a bunch of young pitching in the minors that's waiting to come up.
Yeah, and when those pitchers come up, and if they're good, Padres are going to be a contender very soon.
Yeah.
And they're going to be very dangerous. It's been a while. When was the last time the Padres were close to a playoff spot?
I don't remember.
Like 2010, something like that. It's been a long time, but thank you everyone for listening to episode number 8 of Saberminded. If you're listening on iTunes, be sure to give us a rating. If you're listening on Google Play, do whatever you do on Google Play. If you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like the video. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.